So here we are, season 2, Kay Smythe Show.
Yeah.
So slightly different format to season 1. We're going to be off KABC for at least I think it looks like this month. While they figure out, I don't even know what they're trying to figure out. I think they're just trying to figure out the roster and, well, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
I'm scared of saying anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, some changes from season 1 going into the non-ad based format. Maybe we will have some advertisers in the future, but right. I don't like the breakup between discussions. We're still going to be having guests. Yeah. Moving into 2021, hopefully not into dystopia, but certainly moving forward in...
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll
fuck.
See.
Dude, okay, maybe that's what we talk about in this episode. Kind of what we're thinking about 2021, because I have so many clients right now, like just exclusively my academic clients, who are convinced that it's going to be like the second coming, but in a bad way. And then the 4 horsemen are going to show up. And it's just going to be the fucking apocalypse. And everyone's going to die. Like, everyone thinks that that's what's going to happen.
Honestly, I'm afraid it's going to get worse. Honestly. Yeah. I am. Yeah. Especially Los Angeles. But again, I can't say. I can never predict anything, but just the way it's going now, I can't see it's gonna get any better.
No, I don't either. And I think with these new lockdown restrictions,
right.
Okay, so this is the other thing. Maybe we should talk about what it's like to live in LA right now, because I was on the phone yesterday or the day before with my really good friend and friend of the show, Carol of LA Vagrants. Anyone who's been following me and my work for the last year knows exactly who Carol is. Carol, hi Pep. Oh, your poor face. Carol runs a very successful Twitter feed that profiles the homeless crisis here in LA, and she gained a lot of notoriety on covering it in a way that the media wasn't, that no one in governance or any kind of government anyway was discussing this crisis.
Okay. And
so she and I teamed up probably about a year ago, a little over a year ago, maybe more. God, it might mean like more than that actually. To start doing research and start collating the data that we had uncovered, me through my science, her through being exposed to like real people in the real world. And Carol is a genius and moved the heck out of LA back in like March, April, May time. Like I literally got a phone call. Her and her husband, who's again incredible man, were like, no, we just had a baby, there's no way that we're raising him in this environment, and we're gone. And to be honest with you, Danny, like if my life had been different at that point, I absolutely would have gone with them, and I'm glad I didn't. And I think last year was, or this year I guess it still technically is, was for all the ups and downs, it was ultimately a really good year, and I've learned a lot from this year.
Sure.
But my goodness, I wish I had gotten out of LA ahead of time, because the rest of the country has no idea what's going on here. My mum gets news articles about it. We were the main story on the BBC a couple of days ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So like the rest of the world knows how fucked LA is, but America doesn't actually. And it's terrifying. So maybe we'll move to Raleigh, North Carolina, if I manage to talk Carol into running for office there. Go run her campaign. But in the short term, we should tell people at home what it's really like to live in LA, and at the end of 2020, what has 2020 been like in Los Angeles?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best place to live right now. You can't do anything. Everyone's life has changed in LA. You know, it's you can't go on hikes unless you're doing it like without anybody knowing. You can't eat out for sure. No bars. All the stuff that people do in LA to have fun, it's gone, at least for the time being. And you know, there's a lot of Karens here, so there's a lot of people talking shit if you don't wear a mask and all that stuff. And you had that experience recently with that lady outside who didn't even have her mask on properly. But you know, it's changed. It's changed so much, and you know, people come to LA to have fun. People come to LA for Hollywood and all that stuff. You're not gonna have that anymore, and not for the next couple of years at least.
Yeah.
And so, what else are you gonna do in LA?
A lot of drugs.
I think that's
what a lot of people are gonna do.
Yeah, and look, like, you can do everything you're doing in LA somewhere else with a much less living cost.
Yes.
You know, so you're paying so much to live here, and you can't do shit. So why?
You just absolutely fucking nailed it. We can just end the episode now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it is like I was sequestered here back in 2015, and I keep being stuck here for like work projects and things like that, and I've tried to move several times, but there's a lot of opportunity, and it's never like, I've never really liked LA. I've never been in love with it. I liked the West Side up until the homeless crisis kicked off. Like, it was as European as I could find. Like, Venice used to be so fucking fun. Like, even just as recently as 2016, Venice was really great. It was a really great place to live. And for all of the kind of egos and bullshit that go hand in hand with things like the industry, there's a lot of big industries here in LA that I think a lot of people don't even realize. It's like, we don't just have entertainment, we also have a huge tech industry here.
Right.
Like Facebook, Google, Snapchat, all these things.
NorCal, yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, there's a lot of wealth centered in Los Angeles based on the industry that's here. And so that wealth contributed to making this place tolerable. Like, you were able to, and I hate to be like that person, but you know, like, you could go to like fancy ass parties in the hills, and like, you know, on a Saturday after you've been doing a job that you hated, or you've been on set, or like, you know, whatever it was that you were doing with your week, you could get those perks. And like, even just like a few months ago, when all the restaurants were made to be outdoor dining, I actually preferred that. It was a much better way to like,
better atmosphere.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, much better atmosphere.
And I mean, I live in Koreatown, so a lot of the restaurants, a lot of the Korean bar / restaurants were outside, and it was just like Korea.
Oh, it's so nice.
It was great. Yeah, but not anymore.
Yeah. It's all gone. Like, even the opportunity, like, I was telling one of my friends who's out in New York, because they're about to go into another lockdown too, and oh God, I would hate to be locked down in New York in the middle of winter. Like, that would be so intense. Yeah. But, you know, I was even kind of telling him, fuck, I fucking lost my train of thought.
COVID.
It's fucking COVID, man. COVID brain.
Brain.
No, I mean, I was talking to him about a lot of stuff, mostly to do with the industry, and like, hey, Pip, you stinky boy. I gotta get you go checked again, because your mouth is still not okay. I'm just seeing. Oh, no, it's food. That's fine. He's just got food all over his mouth. Sorry, for everyone listening, not watching, my very old, very decrepit, very teeth falling out of his head cat has just joined us on the couch. I'm sure you guys can hear him purring in the background. Pippin.
He's an old man.
He is such an old man. But yeah, there's a lot of the... Oh, no, so that's what I was saying. So I was telling him, so he was asking like what I've been up to in the last like few weeks. And I was saying like, dude, I'm just so fucking bored. Like, I'm constantly what I was telling you the other day. Yeah. I was just like, I'm not sad, I'm not angry, I'm not like losing my mind. I'm just bored. I'm just bored as shit. Like, I didn't realize, I think actually I was telling you this as well. Like, I didn't realize that when, like, prior to COVID, prior to like having a boyfriend, I guess, that I had for most of this year, when I finished work, if I wanted to like go to a restaurant and eat, I would just go out to a restaurant and eat. I wouldn't need to like bring a friend. Like on a Saturday night, if like everyone I knew was going to like something I didn't want to go to, I would just go do my own thing and make friends along the way. Like that's something that's very normalized, at least for like European culture, is like you go out and you make new friends, even if it's just for the evening.
Right.
And having that taken away in a city like LA is even more isolating, because I can see all these people in my building who are probably all as fucking lonely and bored as me, but because of the way that the lockdown rules have been, I guess, communicated to us, like they're too scared to fucking pass me in the fucking hallway.
Right.
I guess we can swear on this season of the Kay Smythe Show as well.
That's right. And you know, if you don't have money and you live in LA, if you came here to make money with little money in your savings, you might be fucked.
I think a lot of people will have gone into debt.
And hopefully, if you're smart enough, you've gone out of LA as you know, as soon as you got here. But yeah, you know, you live in Santa Monica. I live in Koreatown. Rent is not cheap.
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap. A buddy of mine just called me a few weeks ago, actually during Thanksgiving. He works for the city in Arizona, and he gets paid the same as he was getting paid here over there.
Oh shit.
And his rent is like $1,000 a month versus what he was paying over here, which was a lot more. And so why not?
Yeah.
You know, he's doing the same things. He's still doing, you know, all of his off-roading and all of his martial arts and stuff like that. Just a different location, but lesser, you know, cheaper cost of living. And
I mean, you come to LA and it's often the people, I think, that keep you here. It's not LA. There's nothing appealing about this town, even like long term when you're an adult. Like it is really the people, I think, that keep you here. And when you're being pulled away or not even allowed to like see your people or spend time with your people out doing stuff in LA, yeah, there is no point. And actually a mutual friend of ours just did the same thing, packed up everything. He's in the process of packing everything up. He got a place in Austin. He just sent me a video of it. It's the same size as my spot here. And to give people context, I live in a ground floor 1 bedroom. It does have 2 bathrooms, but one of the bathrooms belongs to the cats. I love my building. Utilities are included. But you know, what I'm paying for it is more than double what he's paying for a bigger, nicer spot in Austin. He is in entertainment, but he managed to get signed by an agent out there and is already booking stuff. And no one out here is booking anything right now. Like the only people I know booking things are actually like, well, they've got an insane number of credits and accolades that have come with their career already. But no one in LA is booking stuff. And, you know, our friend doesn't have a huge amount of credits. He doesn't have a huge amount of accolades yet. But yeah, it's going to be an exodus. I think a lot of wealthy people are going to leave LA, which I think is it's almost like what the government here wants is for everyone, like skilled, talented people with money are going to leave this place, which is going to take a huge amount of revenue out of the city, more than what's already been absolutely executed by these lockdown orders, just in terms of like business. And yeah, I think in 10 years time, okay, I'm gonna preface this. I have a lot of good friends from Detroit. I have a lot of friends I have a lot of clients from Detroit. I don't think Detroit is the hellhole that it was for a little while there. But I think LA is going to become the next Detroit. Like Detroit post 2008, pre probably like 2017, 18. That's what I see this place becoming, because I don't even think the entertainment industry will stay here long term. I can see that starting to shift to Austin. In 25 years, I think Austin could be the hub of entertainment. And that's not really something that would surprise me, because LA has only been the hub of entertainment for a very short time. And I think that's what a lot of other people maybe don't realize, because this place was founded on that, basically. I don't see how this place sustains with the current lockdown orders. Like, we're getting emergency notifications through to our cell phones saying stay indoors, wear masks indoors if you've been exposed. Fuck, dude, did you get that notification on your iPhone this morning?
Which one?
The tracking one?
Oh, I did, yeah.
Did you sign up to it? No, fuck no. So for everyone listening at home, I woke up this morning, and as I'm sitting on the loo playing with my phone first thing, I get this notification pop up. Hey, set up tracking so that if you've been exposed to COVID, we can let you know. And my brain immediately goes to, I'm not giving my fucking phone and whoever is the real person behind this notification that kind of access to my fucking, I mean, not the, the Patriot Act kind of fucked us in the ass for that anyway, but.
I mean, I get why they're doing it, but if you're in LA, technically you can say you're exposed.
Yeah.
Everyone is going to be exposed. I'm sure the next door neighbor might have COVID. It's very possible. Yeah, then they're automatically going to assume that you have COVID.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fucking do that.
No, fuck that shit. That's how, like, the guys in white vans pull up and, like, cart you out the door. I was just talking about that with the interview that I just did with Dr. Yo.
Right.
Ram Yochendra. Yeah. He was talking about how so his family is from Sri Lanka, and they have the guys who pull up in the white van, knock on the door, and they cart you out the house and you're never seen again. And we do have that in the UK. Like, I've seen it in action, and I was just on his show, and I gave an example of how an ex-boyfriend and I were walking through a train station. We saw what was clearly about to be a pretty substantial terrorist attack get foiled, and this guy dragged into the back of a white van. And I'm just like, I feel like the white van is going to become very normalized here in LA. And I mean, it got pretty dystopian earlier this year when we had the riots and we had the military. I straddled two of the main arteries, I guess, of the city here. I got Wilshire Boulevard on one side, Santa Monica on the other, and it was just, the choppers are overhead, and there's like military vehicles like up and down the street. It's fucking intense. Yeah,
I mean, dude, if it weren't for my living situation, my grandmother, because she has to be around a familiar environment, I would have gone.
Yeah,
right away. But yeah, like. Shit, if our friend is paying that little in Austin, I'm okay with paying what I pay now. If I paid what I pay now over there,
we'd be in a house, dude. We'd be in a fucking mansion.
Right.
If we combined what we pay in rent, we would probably be able to put down a deposit on a nice small house, like in most of the rest of the country.
Yeah, maybe even a big house, I think.
If we were back in Europe, it would be 10% of our payment for a 5-acre ranch in France. Let's just put it that way. And we don't pay a huge amount by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
Like, we live very well within our means, and definitely on the lower end of that kind of financial spectrum, I think, but still like in a position to live at a far higher quality of life that is literally inaccessible in Los Angeles. And I get what that kind of commitment is, like with your grandma staying here, taking care of her. You are her primary caregiver.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'll take care of her too. She can come with us.
Yeah, I wish I can, but that's gonna freak her out. Aww. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, if you're broke, you're fucked. If you're broke, you're fucked. You gotta have multiple what's that word?
Revenue streams?
Yeah. In order to survive in LA. And I mean, luckily, good thing my friends who are smart do have that, and they did that during COVID, which is, I guess, a blessing in disguise. But
Danny's talking about his private OnlyFans. You can
yeah, like other than that, I don't know. It's really hard. It's really hard to live in LA, and I feel bad. For a lot of people who came here thinking they can chase their dream. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is still opportunity, but is that opportunity for everybody? No. The people that can actually grind it out and struggle and realize that you might not have food the next day, or you might not be able to eat what you want the next day. Those type of people, if they accept that, then I think they can make it. But if you're expecting to party and shit like that in LA and still make money and all that and have a great life, it's not gonna happen.
God, that's such a it's such a sad thing when survivalism in what is supposed to be the greatest country in the world is literally restricted for people in one particular area, Los Angeles. I want to kind of not necessarily get into like the efficacy of the lockdown. I really want to avoid kind of talking about like the politics of it all in the sense of oh, poor stinky old man. In the sense of like maybe this is on purpose, like maybe this is a war against the working class, and obviously in America, if you're perpetuating a war against the working class, okay, at least on the coasts and in the cities, right, that's a race war. That's a genocide against minorities. And you could say the same, like, impacts, I guess, more like there are more poor white people in America than there are poor minorities in America, but that's purely because there are just more white people in America. Right. And obviously in the cities, like, the concentration is mostly like minorities. And so what we're seeing here in this city, in this state that is supposed to encapsulate diversity, that was literally like named for a goddess, I think, California. What we're seeing is nowhere near, like, in what we're seeing in practice is nowhere near aligned with the kind of culture that we export to the rest of the country. Like, Los Angeles as a city is a fucking hypocrite. Because we're telling the rest of the country to love each other, to stick together, to, you know, be diverse, to give people equal chances. And none of that happens in practice here.
No, and look at Newsom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's the biggest hypocrite. Oh,
he's fucking disgusting. Yeah. I mean, the shit that he's pulled. I mean, I cannot... I don't know, though. Again, I was talking to Carol about, like, the political corruption. He probably will win in 2 years' time.
Oh, jeez.
Just purely because, like, you know, his auntie is going to be able to, like, pull those strings. Although I was listening to Chapo Trap House a couple of months ago, or like a month ago or something. And they were talking about how Pelosi, people like, obviously, Joe Biden, and a handful of, like, just older politicians at this point are so doddering and kind of useless. I should feed him. But are so doddering and, like, useless that, like, Nancy Pelosi literally has to be, like, led into the office that she's supposed to be in and told what she has to say. Because, like, she's old. She's forgetting that stuff now. Shh, Pip. Otherwise, we're going to have to edit it out.
Isn't she the one that closed down the salons and then went to go get her hair done?
Yep. That's Gavin Newsom's aunt. 1 sec, I'm just going to run away for a quick second whilst I quickly feed Pippin, otherwise he's going to keep yelling. Come on,
I'm just going to talk by myself because Kay was unprepared for this podcast. But yeah, everybody, this state is fucked. And if you haven't made money, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. You should have been prepared. That's so fucked up. I shouldn't say that.
Are you shit-talking me on my own show?
No, not you. I'm saying for the people that did get screwed because of COVID, I said that you should have been more prepared, but that goes a long way.
I've been saying this shit for years, though. Like, I'm sorry. The data has been shoved down our throats. If you've ever seen a movie about the end of the world, if you've ever seen a television show about the end of the world, they've been prepping us for this shit for years. I'm not going to go, like, full Alex Jones, but, like, we just watched Contagion.
Right.
That literally could have been written now about what we just went through.
Well, it's basically a movie on what's going on now. I mean, I guess the effects aren't to that extent of the movie where they like have seizures and die, but
I'm sure some people have though.
yeah, I mean, people are dying for sure. Like COVID definitely is there. It's real, and I feel bad for every family that has had the losses, had to experience the losses, but I mean, no buts there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you there, like this situation, it's very. It can go so many ways. Like if there's so many people complaining about how, for example, the stimulus check.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. There was only one stimulus check for $1,200. It's fucked up, right?
Yeah.
You know, definitely people need more support. And I know there are many, like, let's say single mothers who are having multiple jobs that don't have jobs anymore because of COVID, and they might be on the streets or struggling because they have mouths to feed, they have kids to feed. Those people I don't feel bad for. I mean, those people I feel bad for. But there are a lot of the people that I'm seeing that complain about just the one check, or the people that spend half their check on fucking buying Jordans and shoes and shit like that. You know, there's people like that who spend their paycheck on the whole paycheck over the weekend because they want to party and shit like that. Even if without COVID, I know people are still buying drinks and they have house parties at home, even if it's with, you know, less people. They're still spending all that money. They're still buying shoes. There's still lines at Supreme, you know.
And like consumerism, you could argue, and maybe I fucking should actually argue, that consumerism is one of the reasons that we have COVID. So like what I think is really insidious about COVID as a disease is that it really does impact people with pre-existing conditions. So a lot of the young people who are dying from it have underlying pre-existing conditions. Sure. Now, admittedly, the only reason that they were alive to catch COVID is because we have had at least about 100 years of modern medicine that works. And that's about it. Modern medicine has only been around for, if we really want to think about it, probably less than that, since like the 30s and 40s.
Right.
And so that is very insidious, and there's obviously like a lot of kind of mental stress and anguish that goes on hand in hand with that. But it's also like, what the fuck did you expect was going to happen when we started doing a couple of 100,000 international flights a week? There's literally constantly aeroplanes in the sky. Right. So there are people constantly traveling from one country to another. And I say this as a massive hypocrite immigrant, but I arrived here and I've stayed. I haven't gone anywhere else. And I pay my taxes. Right. But, you know, consumerism has contributed to the growth in the global supply chain. We have globalization because of consumerism. Because some wanker who can't afford them is demanding Jordans, a child in a sweatshop in China is going to be making those Jordans for them, and they're probably going to work in that. They're going to be born, go to work in that sweatshop as soon as they're like functional and like able to do it, as like a 3 or 4 year old. They're probably, if they're really lucky, going to make it to adulthood and be stuck in that same job until they die pretty young. Yeah. They're probably going to be kind of unwell as a result of that horrific like life experience. And the only reason that kind of awfulness and human rights violations exists is because of the guy, say, wanting his Jordans. Right. And then you can kind of track that to, okay, the Jordans, we're gonna source the materials in, let's say, like Tajikistan, Turkmenistan. We're gonna go get leather from I don't know, some like other rural part of China. We're gonna get rubber from the Amazon for the soles, and we're gonna chop down a bunch of trees in Canada, and that will, I don't know, be part of some other part of the fucking materials. I don't know what goes into making a shoe. Sure. And then all of that then gets flown to China, and the child in the sweatshop takes all of those materials, processes them all together. So then you've essentially got like all these different parts of the world combining together in one spot, and then everything in that one spot then gets shipped all back out to the rest of the world again. So that kind of macro movement, and delivery of goods just so someone can have a pretty pair of shoes, so that, and I'm just gonna fucking say it, so that an overpaid athlete can make even more money, and a shoe company can keep making more shoes. Like, that's the reason that we have COVID, is because we're massively overexposed to one another, and we're demanding things of this planet that we never should have been in a position to demand.
Right.
And I mean, gosh, I mean, everything plays into that's the reason we have freaking climate change, is because we have this incessant need. So yeah, I agree. I don't feel bad for the guy who, oh, I wanted to like go on my holiday to like fucking Cabo, to my like all-inclusive resort, and then I wanted to like come home and like go to like a strip club and, you know, like assault a couple of women, and then I wanted to go out like midweek and buy like 10 new pairs of shoes and like a new boat and all this other kind. Like, nah, dude, I'm sorry, your life has been hurt because of like COVID. COVID exists because of how fucked up and selfish your life is. And yeah, I'm massively oversimplifying, but like, I could do the fucking qualitative analytics on that and prove it. I don't think it would be that hard.
Sure.
And yeah, and then you get people in this town even who, I mean, we've got loads of friends who like lives have been fucked by COVID.
Right. Yeah.
And like, whether it's the lockdown, whether it's the disease itself, it's fucking crazy. Right. But the lockdown definitely compounds it, makes it so much worse.
Yeah. Yeah. People need to get their shit straight.
Yeah.
Get your priorities straight. And yeah, like even what's his name? Joe Rogan. He fucking said it the other day. This is why the aliens aren't coming. People don't have their shit straight. So
yeah,
get it together so we can meet the aliens and we can live our life. Yeah. We can fulfill our curiosities and go on with our lives, or just die, but still.
Yeah, it really is. And like, we want for such superficial things. I mean, I say that with my free couch, with the blankets I've literally had since university, and my uni friends have actually picked up on the fact that I've had the blankets that are on this couch since university, with my pillows that my mum made. I
mean, I'm talking all this shit and I have Nike socks on.
Yeah, even I buy a lot from Amazon, I guess. Like, we're all hypocrites.
We're all fucking hypocrites.
We're just not quite hypocrites like Newsom.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't stand in line for Supremes. I don't own a single pair of Supremes. Again, I do splurge on other shit, like cars.
Yeah, but you work harder than anyone I've ever met. Like, a lot of the people, even in our friendship group, who demand a lot of stuff, literally don't work. And that I have an issue with as well, because that's like literally anti-American.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely work for my shit. And I am surviving through COVID because of that. I was prepared. Luckily, I guess with the help of my mentor. But yeah, again, going back to the people that weren't prepared. I do feel bad for people that obviously have it worse than others. But I do not feel bad for the people that are spending more than what they are worth. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. So, it's hard to feel sorry for them. Yeah. Okay, I know we weren't going to get too into the politics of it, but I've got to. Okay, so one of the big campaign things that Kamala Harris ran on, and at the time, I fell into this bracket. So when Kamala Harris started her campaign around this sort of time, or like a little bit earlier last year, she was saying the average American family is a $500 medical bill away from debt. Like, the average American family cannot afford a $500 medical bill. And in her state, she has ensured that the at-risk population, so the people that we were just describing, the people who were literally unable to prepare for something like COVID, the single mothers, the people who work and live below the poverty line,
or single fathers,
or brothers or sisters, you know, people who you know, who are those first, second generation immigrants who are building off the debts of their families, who came here and gave them that opportunity. People who are the salt of the earth, the nurses, the checkout guys, people like that, the people who work in the restaurants that we love in this town, that made LA culture, that gave us that. These people are now probably in so much debt as a result of COVID that they're not going to give a fuck about a $500 medical bill, because they're probably never going to recover from just this year alone. And when she was running, I was in the financial position where I was like, yeah, fuck, if I had a fucking $200 medical bill right now, I wouldn't be able to pay it. And actually, it was kind of ironically, her saying that made me realize, like, oh shit, I need to get my financial literacy up. I probably need to say yes to one of these opportunities that because I didn't want to work. I was in a position where I could live kind of month to month. I had no responsibility other than myself, and you know, then this year changed all of that, and I started to grow the fuck up, and I took one of those grown-up jobs. And it
I wouldn't say this year, but yeah.
Well,
I think you prepared before, but yeah.
I mean, practically speaking, I've always been prepared for the end of the world, because I've been so ready for it for so long. I want like it to be straight up like Last Guy on Earth, if you've ever seen that, where it's just like no fucking people, and we can just be like, there's this one scene where he sets up a bunch of old fish tanks outside of like a Petco, like in the, and he just spends his day bowling into the fish tanks to hear the smash. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like the perfect way to live. That sounds like a lot of fun. Like, if we're going to go into the apocalypse, that's the apocalypse that I want. But no, I mean, it just just to kind of wrap up the heinous Kamala Harris bit, I think it's like really important for people in the rest of the country to know, and I'm going to send this episode and spam it all over the internet as much as possible, but it's really important for people in this country to know that the people that they just voted into power have absolutely destroyed this home. This place was really, it was getting really good for a minute there. Like, they managed to even start dealing with like the gang issues. Like, I remember 5 years ago it was just the gangs were an issue in LA. Like, the gang warfare was bad.
Right.
Oh, sorry about the chopper.
I would say 10 years ago, closer to 10 years ago, was really bad. Got better for sure 5 years after that, but still bad.
But it's just like, it's gotten progressively worse, and these people who are literally running on messaging like, oh, like the average, like, I understand what it's like to be you, I'm not gonna like allow that to happen. They're the ones that have just literally shut down the state. They're the ones who have guaranteed that those families who can't afford the $500 medical bill definitely won't be able to afford it now, and that they should be brought up on fucking charges for that.
Right. And like, they're gonna start taxing more for people that make, I mentioned this on the KBC, you know, people that make over 100,000 a year are gonna start getting taxed more, which she said she wouldn't, and then she did after. And even 100K is not a lot in LA.
It's not.
And how many people do you know that make 100K? I don't know a lot of people that do. And that's,
I don't know anyone. I mean, I don't know, like in our close friendship group.
Right.
I mean, maybe one person, but she's a freaking wealth manager.
Right.
Like,
I mean, yeah, exactly. I know a few people, and they're obviously higher than that, but yeah, below that, or like at the 100K mark, I don't know anybody. And that says a lot too, and especially if you're living in LA. God, and 100K is, I think, considered low income now. Right? In
LA it is, yeah. I think it's
crazy. In
LA, if you're under 120, it's low income. In the rest of the country, it's middle income. Like, that's like when you start to be middle class. In the world, you're part of the 1%.
Right.
And that's what they base it on, is this like global statistic that doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
You know, for the real people here.
So why the fuck do you live in LA then?
Yeah.
When you're considered lower class.
Exactly. Well, it's funny, right? Like you and I talked about this, I think, on the last episode of when we were on the KABC show, and then at Thanksgiving, I'm sitting there minding my own business at Dr. Drew's place because I ended up doing Thanksgiving with them. And yeah, even Adam Carolla had listened to that episode, which was like the biggest fucking compliment.
Thank you for
ever.
listening, Adam.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. You should come on the show. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'd love to get your take on what it's like to live in LA, because I think you could do it far more poetically and violently than us. But it was so telling that, like, I'm sat there with, I mean, it was a fucking dream come true, right? Like, I literally did Thanksgiving with Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla. It was very cool.
Loveline reunited.
And I gotta give a huge shout out to Susan Pinsky for organizing the whole thing and for even having me. I don't think she was going to invite anyone. And then I ended up being a bit stranded. And, you know, their son's cooked, and it was a fucking incredible, like, perfect Thanksgiving. But it was very telling to me that, you know, like halfway through the dinner, the conversation turned to taxes, because here are two people who are, I mean, I'm still hoping, I'm going to get in so much trouble for this. I'm still hoping, like, Drew runs for office, because he should be. And, like, I think if he doesn't, like, they'll probably move out of state eventually too. I think everyone's going to move out. And what are they going to do when everyone who makes over 100K leaves California? Because if they make that a national average, I'm going to fucking Canada, or I'm going to Venezuela. Probably Venezuela's safer. There's no extradition treaty. But yeah, like
yeah. Or just ooh.
Oh, Miss Bitch. Fucking up the creature.
Or we just continue to make money. And I think the last podcast we did in Utah for the LDK, we mentioned that we wanted to get more positive and stop talking shit about LA. So, you know, I mean, it's so hard to do, but, you know,
I don't think we're talking shit about it. I feel like what we're doing is explaining to our listeners what it's really like.
Right.
Here.
For sure.
It's dreadful.
Yeah.
The people I feel sorry for here at this point, except for the ones who queue to get into fucking shops to buy shit they don't need. If you queue to get into a clothing store, you need to reconsider your life choices. Right. Go to a park.
And we saw that too.
Oh my God.
We saw that. That was ridiculous.
That's so fucking stupid.
But we are, at least you and I, are doing what we can to have fun in LA. And so, Kay, I know you're getting into Call of Duty.
Oh yeah, I was waiting to see if you would bring it up, because I'm so okay. Yeah. Danny's gotten me into COD, got the new laptop, got my gaming headphones and my mouse.
Yeah. Watch out, boys. Any guys that wants to teach her how to play, because she sucks ass right now.
I won one of the test games against the bots the other day.
Test games.
One of the test games.
The test games. But once you get into the real world of Call of Duty, yeah, there's some pretty damn good people out there.
Yeah. I've heard that you might be one of them, Danny.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I think 2021, at least for our listeners and our viewers at home.
Right.
I'm going to call it the year of content, because that's what they're going to be getting from us.
Yeah. You're going to see a lot of videos of Call of Duty. Yeah. And, 50 million people play that fucking game.
That's fucking crazy. So, and it's been around forever.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time. But this year has been huge for Activision. So, Activision is the company that, so keep an eye out.
I was going to say. And we're going to get actually a fair amount of esports people even are going to be coming on the show. Oh, that's another exciting thing that we can talk about for 2021. So here's the one pro. If you do start a business in Los Angeles, and actually, if you started a business in Los Angeles in the last 5 years, the social scene here that used to exist, I mean, just to throw this out there, one 4th of July, I got a phone call in the morning. Hey, we're all white. We're going out. And it was just like my fucking neighbor. And I'm like, okay. First place we end up is the fucking Playboy Mansion. We end up then going from there to Nobu with I can't remember his name. It was a Julian, and then this guy Russ, who's lovely. He owns Rockstar Energy Drinks. So we end up getting into, like, I'm literally sat next to him arguing about, like, PhDs. I had no fucking clue who he was at that point. But, like, we end up going to Nobu, and it's, like, the white party at Nobu. And I'm standing there, and it's just, like, an ocean of celebrities. And it was, okay, to put into context, at about 10 o'clock at night, the people that we went with turned to me, and they were like, you want to go to Leo's house and hang out? And I had such a fucking boring day that I was like, no, absolutely fucking not. I don't want to go to Leo's house. Like, Leo DiCaprio, you can say his full name. Like, you can't just be like, my mate Leo, you fucking wanker. Like, this wasn't Russ or the guys I was with, but, like, I think it was some of their friends. They were like, oh, do you want to come to Leo? And I was just like, no, I absolutely do not want to go to fucking Leonardo DiCaprio's house, because that sounds like a sexual assault waiting to happen by one of you motherfuckers. I'm going to go home and get stoned. And I was like, how fucking selfish and disgusting am I? I just had the kind of day that, like, most teenage boys would fucking kill for. Like, admittedly, I was like a 24-year-old woman.
Right.
But I had one of those days out, and that was the kind of day that you could only do in LA. And it was shit boring. The people I was around were fucking miserable and stupid, and I hated every single second of it. I had a phone call probably about a month later, or maybe it was even like a month before. Hey, do you want to come to Phoenix, Arizona, and hang out at an esports event? And I was just like, I've never been to Phoenix, and if it's free, it's me. And I got there, and it was just a Fortnite tournament, I believe. I think it might have been Overwatch. Chris, who we'll have on the show, will explain it. I was there for 2 days. I think it was like 2 nights, 1 night maybe, surrounded by esports players. Tiesto did play, which was very fucking cool. And it was in this ghastly resort. Like, there was a pool party. The pool water turned brown. It was horrific. And hands down, it was being surrounded by esports people. I have never felt more welcomed. I've never had such fascinating, every single person I spoke to, I had a deep, impactful, meaningful conversation with them about something that had nothing to do with either of us as people or what we thought we contributed with our careers. It was... You're
not joking, right?
I'm not fucking about.
Right.
I had the best fucking time, and those guys are all good friends of mine to today. I can't say that about any other industry people. Not friends with any of the tech people I've ever worked with. Right. I can't stand them. Right. Not really close with a lot of my entertainment people because I just don't, like, I can't suck their dicks basically like they demand, metaphorically and literally. And like that demographic, for the way that they're represented out in the real world, they are the nicest people in person. So I'm really excited to get a lot of them on the show as well. You're
gonna see though, I told you before, once you get on, Call of Duty is probably the most toxic environment because you're gonna see some you're gonna hear some fucked up shit.
I went through high school as a teenage girl. I can do toxic.
Oh yeah, just wait. Just wait. I mean, there's a lot of keyboard warriors for sure, and it's fun. It's fun to listen to, and it's fun to talk shit to those type of keyboard warriors.
I'm excited.
I never talk shit unless I get talk shit too, and when I do, it's so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, damn, this guy's going crazy.
I know. Stop
it. It's okay.
Wonky.
But yeah, I think I agree. Like, there are definitely some douches that I see in esports, but everyone, for the most part, seems like a pretty good person.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you can enjoy it. So, I mean, I'm not even in the world, but I play it. You know, obviously without streaming and stuff like that. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's a great stress reliever. I'm gonna
drag you into that world.
Yeah.
I've already got Nate at Alt. Anyone who's a lifestyle clothing fan, Alt Esports. They're wonderful. They
ULT?
Yeah, my entire wardrobe is either Iris products now or Alt, basically.
Right.
And then Chris at Sub Nation, who was, I believe he was like a world champion StarCraft player at one point. But he wants to play COD with us as well.
Okay.
And so when we get you up and streaming, that's what I'm gonna make you a staple of the esports world.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what'll get you the Rogan interview. Hey man, so you're really big in esports, but I hear you're pretty dynamic.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't think so, but yeah. Anyone wants to help Kay play? Because she needs help. please help.
Danny's just trying to like palm me off on you. He's just like, he's gonna find one of you saps who says yes, and then you're just gonna never deal with me.
I mean,
again.
who doesn't want to teach Kay Smythe, right? Somebody wants to teach her. Come on, somebody.
I don't know. My dad, I think, has been always my greatest teacher, because anytime I asked him a question, he'd say, well, you know X, Y, and Z about these aspects of your question, so work it the fuck out. But he said it in a much more loving way. Right. Or if I didn't know, then he would force me to figure out the answer for myself. So yeah, I'm a fucking horrible student.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Sorry.
With this game, it's just experience goes a long way, so we just gotta keep playing.
Yeah,
with everything.
Yeah, well, that's what I've been doing to like calm me down. Like COD as a stress reliever, holy shit.
Yeah, because you can't think about anything else.
Yeah, I've had 2 horrific new clients this week. They know who they are. Right. And yeah, I've been playing a lot of COD after finishing work.
Wait till you get into the real world of COD. You can't. I mean, my wife tells me all the time, she hears me yelling and shit like that because I'm like so engaged. And yeah, I never yell.
I've never heard you yell.
I never yell.
I've never heard you yell.
But when I play that game, the person I play with, Hyun, aka his American name is Gabe. He's the worst teammate I've ever had. The worst teammate, but I still play with him every day.
I didn't want to bring up Hyun. I'm so glad you did.
The worst teammate. The worst stats.
Wait, what does he do? What defines him as like the worst teammate?
This is what he does. When there's like 10 people around you, and it's only 2 of us, he says, "Okay, I'm gonna go in," and I yell, "Don't go in! Don't go in! Don't engage!" He goes in. He goes Rambo and he dies.
Oh, fuck.
And then he says, "I don't know why I keep losing."
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, that's him for you. So.
Oh wow. Yeah. So he's just oh god, he's the guy in Jurassic Park who runs out of the truck into the restroom and gets munched by the T-Rex. Right.
So I don't know how well he would do if there was an actual apocalypse. He'd be the one that's gonna be like, "Okay, I'm gonna go."
It's okay, we can eat Hyun.
Yeah. He'll be the sacrifice, I guess.
Wait, can we talk about Kenny? I can imagine Kenny being really good at shit talking, and we should get both of them on the show at some point.
Kenny is actually really good.
I can imagine.
Kenny is really good. He's one of those. He's like me. We normally, so when we play the game, we just do a private chat, so other people can't hear us. Yeah. But you can actually enable it so you can hear everybody, including the other team. But we normally just do a private chat. But sometimes when we do have private chat, the other people will know because our mics are muted. And so a lot of people will just start typing shit instead.
Whoa, that's petty as fuck.
And, they say, "Oh, too easy," or like, "You guys are bad," or "You guys are trash," or whatever, blah, blah. And then so Kenny turns on his mic. And then he starts talking shit. It's funny. Like, I can't say the shit that he says.
Well, 2021, we're going to be freaking streaming it.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's pretty toxic. The people can be pretty toxic. Kenny is not toxic, but he does it because he gets a laugh out of it.
Okay, that's good. I mean, to be honest with you, kind of same.
Right.
Like, so it's not quite the same as COD.
Right.
But I was telling, actually, Jordan Pinsky, Drew's son, because I'm doing Hanukkah. Like I said, I'm doing Hanukkah with them tomorrow. Right. he and I were like, he asked me what I was doing yesterday, and I was like, well, it's the day after the airing, so obviously I'm watching The Bachelorette. And I realized I sit here when I'm on my own and I talk. I'm horrific. Like, the shit I come out with, I could never say publicly. Like, I could never do a live stream of me watching reality TV because I turn into the worst, most ratchet high school bitch version of myself.
Right.
That I'm like really just disappointed in myself. Like, there's no other way to put it. So I like the fact that in COD, I will be provoked into hopefully saying some really heinous things.
Being yourself.
Yeah, I'll be provoked into being normal.
Right.
Like normal.
You'll be normal. You'll be normal in the esports world. You'll be considered normal. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell a lot of people that I'm gonna fuck their dads probably.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good comeback. Yeah, because
I can get really sexually explicit.
I don't know what you would say to that. I don't know what you can say to that. If just thinking from the shit talker's point of view, if someone said, I'm gonna fuck your dad, I don't know what to say. I have no idea what to say. I'll be at a loss of words for sure. Yeah, that'll be a good one.
I think it's like, I don't know, do you find that people take it from like 0 to 100 very quickly?
Absolutely. They say, I told you what they say, and I can't say it.
Yeah, no, we can't say it on this show.
I can't say it. But there's some people that say some really sick shit. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to say to that. All I do is I just stay quiet, and then most of the time I win when shit talkers are there, and I just type. I put too easy. right before so like the game ends and it shows a scoreboard. And then there's like 5 seconds of just showing the scoreboard and no one can do anything. Yeah. And then he just goes back to the lobby and you guys, you never see that person again. So right at the 5 seconds, at the 1 second mark, I typed too easy.
Oh, that's so good. So bitchy. Yeah. Fuck, that makes people's head explode.
Oh yeah, well, for sure. Because I've had people find my name and invite me into a private game.
No, that's so petty.
Yeah, and so like there was this a team that Kenny and I were playing, and they were Hispanic, and they were talking a bunch of shit in Hispanic, and I understand everything. They're saying, they're saying pinche chinos and stuff like that, whatever. Like, I don't even know how they knew we were Asian, but they were talking shit, and like, they were saying a bunch of shit. So at the end when we won, I typed basura. And then that guy invited me like 10 times. And
did you tell him that you didn't want to be part of his trash game?
I just clicked dismiss every time. Dismiss every time I got an invite. And eventually it stopped, but I was like, I felt good.
Good for you. Yeah, too fucking right.
I felt good. I like the shit talkers that lose.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I will say, after we did the Tommy interview last year or this year, I keep wishing that it's 2021 already. Right. But you gave me the incredible advice of all the shit talk that I got just to respond with lol KK. I think if you were to like autopsy my phone and my social media, I've said lol KK more in the last 3 months than I have at any other point in my entire existence. Right. I think that's probably the most common thing I write now.
Well, so what are they going to say to it?
Yeah, so it's like, okay.
They're going to keep talking and then just say the same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right then.
That's it. Yeah. That's a good way to shut them up, because that shows them that you really don't care about what they think.
Do you find that there are a lot of women on COD that can shit talk? Or if you come across?
There are some. I've actually saw some videos where there's this famous player that I like to watch because he's really good. And this girl, he happened to actually find her Twitch. He found her Twitch, and so he put that clip of him killing her and her response in his YouTube video. And she was salty. She's like, I can't believe I died to this fucking piece of shit. Like, you're fucking bad. You're so bad. And she was like screaming to the mic. And then like you can when you kill somebody, you can only hear them for like a few seconds, and then she just kept going on her stream, and it was like she was just so upset. She was just fucking pouting and sitting there.
Oh, it's a fucking game.
I know, and it was so funny that he put it there because it was such a win for him in his video, and she was just so upset. Yeah, there's a few people. There's a lot of girls that talk shit too, for sure.
God,
not a lot, but
can you imagine if we all had COD, or we had like a version of this? So like at the end of the day, you can just go into this arena that doesn't actually physically hurt anyone, and you get rid of like all your stress, all your rage, so you don't have to fucking tweet about it. You don't have to go and say it to people in the fucking street like people are these days. Yeah. Because like, yeah, as soon as I played COD, like even yesterday, like it was... It just takes, like, as soon as you take your headphones off, like, even just playing, like, my kind of practice matches and, like, fucking all this kind of shit. Like, I don't know anything about this game, but how to kill people and how to get things and how to move around very, very, very badly. And, yeah, like you said, you're completely removed from the real world. And it gives you, at least it gave me, almost like a new perspective. Right. Because it was fucking annoying. Like the second time when I played the practice match and I died, and then the third time when I played and I fucking died, and the fourth time I played and I fucking died. You know, by the end of it, I was just like, for fuck's sake. And I was like shouting at myself. And then I can't remember, like, I mean, I turn around here and like one of the cats has broken something, or like the new one likes to shit on the floor. That's like her new fun thing that she likes to do. The fucking bitch. But that's because her name is Miss Bitch. But, you know, there's always something to like deal with, and before that would be the thing that I swore about, but now it's just like, oh, okay. Right. It literally removes, almost like it's like you expel those chemicals, like those rage hormones as you're playing. So yeah, it would be nice if we just did that on COD and didn't do it on any other kind of social media.
Right. Unfortunately that's not gonna happen, but
no, people are monsters. Oh well. But there we go. Fuck it.
So welcome, Kay, to COD.
Oh great, I can't wait.
Another source of shit talking that you gotta hear. But you can definitely dish out too. Yeah, and that's what I'm excited for. I think it's gonna show you a whole new side of me. I'm excited to see that whole other side of you. See this other side of Kenny, because Kenny to me is just this wonderful puppy dog, lovely. No, he's less of a puppy dog. He's more like, you know, those dogs that they would use, oh god, they used to carry the brandy. They were like the dogs that they would go and send to like save humans. Like every human in my head has like a bird and a dog associated with their personality, and Kenny is like, I think it's like a Saint Bernard or something like that. That's a good one. Like, you know, the one who's like, he's big, he's strong, he's tough, but he's like a gentle giant who's gonna like take care of you. I guess maybe it turns out that he's like a fucking shit talking psycho like the rest of us. Thank God. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun. And he's a great shit talker. You're gonna hear it.
Do you guys shit talk Hyun?
No. Kenny is all about. So Kenny does positive reinforcement for Hyun.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, I do negative.
Parents.
Yeah. And so, Anyway, you just gotta get in. You'll get in. Yeah. Play with us, and you'll see.
And the Kay Smythe Show is gonna start being live streamed to Twitch, probably, potentially.
Soon.
Yeah, that's gonna be how we move forward with season 2. We'll be doing a straight live stream. When we have guests, we probably won't. We'll probably pre-record just because that's what guests prefer, but that's fine. Right. But yeah, when it's us, we're gonna be doing lots of live streaming. We got some really cool shit coming up. I don't even know what you would call it. Like, I guess the next episode after this is going to be our first gun special.
Right. Our 2A special.
Yeah. Fuck, that's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of content that's going to be coming out even just in the next week.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. Yeah.
That's going to be a really fun one.
Everyone should keep an eye out for that one, because it's going to be at the range.
Yeah, we're going to be on location in Riverside. We're going to be getting hi creature. We're going to be getting arms training from Caleb Wu. I can't fucking remember the name. Oh, it's Route 66 is the name of the range. Okay. So we're going to be talking a lot about gun training, gun safety. Right. For all of my listeners back in the UK, we're going to talk about, I hope that we can get into almost like the culture of gun ownership in America. Like my last episode with Lex, we kind of touched on it a little bit, and I think that was kind of interesting for him because he's never had that kind of opportunity to talk about the fact that he like literally builds his own guns. You can see all of that on social media too. But yeah, the next episode after this is going to be really cool. So if you're listening to this at some point in the future when both episodes have come out, thank you for listening to this one. The next one you should listen to is Arms Training at Route 66 with Caleb Wu. Watch now. The aliens are going to invade. We're not even going to be able to play COD come tomorrow.
Oh, no. No, I hope not.
No, I feel like if the aliens invade... Oh, I mean, should we talk about the phenomenon for a minute?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we're going to need any guns. I think guns will become a thing of a collector's item, like a recreational activity after the aliens invade. Dude, that bit with... Okay, so for everyone listening at home, Danny and I just watched The Phenomenon on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's a movie. It's like $4.99. I have also watched, I think, every single interview I could possibly find with the filmmaker, and I just watched the Rogan with him and Jacques Vallée, who's
James Fox. James Fox is the director.
Yeah, it's James Fox and Jacques Vallée. Yeah, I don't remember. Were the two guys. Their Rogan episode fucked me up. But for those of you listening at home, maybe who haven't seen The Phenomenon, I think it's probably the best documentary and film I've ever seen in terms of disclosure, that we have clearly been visited.
Right.
And the bit that fucked me up the most was the bit with the kids in Zimbabwe, I think it was. So... to give you guys kind of a little bit of background, essentially what happened was back, I think it was in the 80s, a group of kids in Zimbabwe, maybe in the 90s, were about 100 of them, ran out into their schoolyard because a spaceship had landed and out got a small child-size alien, and the alien communicated with all of these children telepathically and said... technology will be your downfall. You are polluting the air to the point where you will no longer be able to breathe. And of the 100 students, all of them managed to tell exactly the same story. They all had the same picture. They all had exactly the same thing happen to them. They were all there. They all remember it. 20, 30 years later, whatever it was, they talked about it. Not a single thing in the experience had changed in their stories.
Right.
And I don't think I'm doing a very good job of taking the crazy out of this story, because I think the film did a very good job of setting it up.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
Yeah. But I'm a social scientist, and in social sciences, as a qualitative expert, in order to conduct a thorough academic, scientifically valid qualitative study, you have to at least interview between usually about 8 to 10. I like to get at least 15 people that I can interview. And if I can interview those 15 people, and those 15 people come up with, throughout the course of an interview, similar themes that can be extracted from the conversation, I can then take those themes and present a new understanding in science, and use that to generate real action, real change in the real world. When you have 100 children who can conclusively reiterate and relive the same story and communicate that throughout the course of their lives, and their story was that one of these fucking ships landed in their schoolyard and gave them, well ahead of time, a pretty accurate representation of what we now know to be true, that technology has kind of fucked us, and that we are polluting this planet to the point where we won't be able to breathe. That, I think, for me, was the first time that it really, truly, that's irrefutable evidence as far as I'm concerned. And I was actually watching in the Rogan interview, they talk about a couple of other examples of when that happened. There was one in Australia where almost the exact same thing happened.
Yeah, I mean,
this movie's gonna fuck you up.
I can't say much about it because it's, though, no matter how I say it, it's not gonna come out good. You just gotta watch it.
Yeah,
you gotta watch it, and I mean, anything alien, you have to have an open mind to it.
Yeah.
But this show definitely, or this documentary definitely, yeah, just watch it. Just watch it. You'll get what I'm saying.
Danny's scared of sounding like a nutter, whereas I'm fine with it. I'm absolutely fine being on this side of history. But I think it's good that you and I have that balance, because I think most people feel like you. And do you know what's funny is I'm thinking back, I just did the interview on the Valero verdict, and he and I were talking about like cannabis legalization, and I said to him, I was like, dude, you live in Tennessee, and we talk about legalization in Tennessee. I was like, I guarantee the day this shit gets decriminalized or legalized in Tennessee is the day that you discover that most of your relatives have been smoking pot this entire time and have just been too like scared of the stigma to talk about it. And I think exactly the same thing is going to happen when there's true disclosure and like a normalized understanding that we are not alone in this universe and that we are not actually really even alone on this planet. And all the people that you've been calling crazy. Well, again, the filmmaker even talks about the fact, like, I guess one of his neighbors is like a hugely award-winning film editor, and this guy's been making fun of him for like 20 years of making these movies. And after this movie, and after all of the shit that's been coming out since about 2016, even like this guy's neighbors turned around and said, "Oh shit, you might actually have been onto something this entire time."
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Either end of the spectrum, guys. But that movie is probably one of the best documentaries I've also seen in a very long time on any subject matter. I thought it was one of the best made films I've seen in a very long time.
It was great. It was great. Props to James Fox. It was great.
I'm trying to figure out how to get him on this show. I've tried to submit media requests. I'm sure they're just being inundated at the moment, though.
They're probably busy as shit right now because of that. After that show, yeah. So
and
I don't blame them.
But it's weird though, because their interview on Rogan had a lot, like, way fewer views than I thought it would have. Yeah. Which is the only thing that I found a bit strange. But everything gets suppressed in this day and age.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe that might even get taken down. Watch.
If that gets taken down, then aliens either aren't gonna be disclosed, like we're not going to get that kind of true disclosure, or it's going to go to the Stephen Greer, I think it's Dr. Stephen Greer, to his hypothesis, which is going to be if the aliens do, quote, invade, it will be a faux invasion of us using their materials to kill off like a third of the population or whatever. Which, again, I'm convinced is going to happen. And I don't know if it means we're going to have to go full dystopia for a couple of years and go like full War of the Worlds, which I just rewatched and it's a brilliant film. Right. It's the annoying thing about Tom Cruise. He's in that crazy cult, but he makes some jolly good films. Right. And War of the Worlds being one of them. And so it's like, do we get disclosure like War of the Worlds style? Or do we get it like, I don't know, what's a happy alien movie? Close Encounters?
I don't know.
Like, yeah, I know.
E.T.?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. No, I think the thing that I'm excited for though, and this is going to be like the last thing I say, I just want to nerd out for a minute. But I don't know. I'm not like a physicist. I like to pretend that I know a little bit about like raw materials here on Earth, because like a lot of physics plays into geology, and I would have loved to have been a geologist. I just couldn't get the math. And one of the things that they discover, I guess, or have discovered, and it was again very well explained in The Phenomenon, was how, if you guys can hear the sirens in the background, this is what it's like to live in one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in LA. I'm just throwing that out there. This is 24/7. I have slept with silicone earplugs in for the last 2 years, to the point that I have fucking tinnitus now. It's like tinnitus or no sleep. Which would you prefer living here? Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted by someone's emergency situation, I know, like, I know enough about physics and geology to know when to be confused. And one of the things that they describe is how some of these materials that they've uncovered from, like, whether it's like crash sites or, I can't even remember how they said they found some of these materials, was that not only are they so complex that we don't really have any kind of potential of creating these materials from isotopes that exist that we know about, like we know. So like, you know, you've got the periodic table, and then the periodic table breaks down into about another 260 different isotopes or whatever, and those isotopes make up each of the elements in the periodic table. Massive oversimplification. I'm probably getting some of the nomenclature wrong, so if you're listening at home and want to correct me, please do. And if you're a physicist, please come on the show. I have so many questions. But what they had found in these materials was that they were too complex for us to have been able to make them at any real like kind of worth or cost, and that they had been constructed at the isotope level, not at the elemental level. So if you think about like I don't know, like our cell phones or whatever, that's made up of plastics, what's it going to be, like fucking silicon, lithium, and then it's going to be like your basic kind of like aluminum casings and all that kind of shit. What these materials were like taking the individual almost like particles that make up iron, that make up silicone, and creating a material based on the elements that make up the elements, if that makes sense. And that, if someone came to me today and was like, I want to create a startup because I've discovered how to create raw materials at the isotopic level, it's probably not the right word again, I would give them my entire life savings, because I'm going to make a fuckload of money off this person. That, just from an engine, and I work with some of the world leading engineers like through my work, and it blows my fucking mind. That fucked me up. The story with the kids fucked me up. The fact that these elements have literally been manipulated to that point to construct a new material. I'm excited. I'm mind blown. And I want to know everything. That absolutely. Yeah. That I found very exciting, because there is a lot of solution that can come into that. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm curious too. I want to know what the hell that is. Because I think they mentioned that it was super lightweight. Yeah. So if you're like a Marvel fan, it's like vibranium. I don't know if you know what that is.
I know what adamantium is, but I think that's Wolverine.
That's Wolverine. That's Wolverine. Vibranium is Captain America's shield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And some other dudes, I forgot. But yeah, Black Panther.
Are the cats? Yeah. Is the
allergies?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, that's fuck.
Yeah. But yeah. Good first show.
Good first show, dude.
Second
this was
season.
Great. Season 2. Here we go.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
Yeah. Again, anybody that wants to support Kay on COD, please teach her.
Please help me. I need it.
Yeah, she needs it.
I really do.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Danny. Well,
yeah.
Cool. Done?
Sounds good. Yeah, done.
Thanks for tuning in to Kay Smythe Show Season 2.
Bye.
Bye.